The moment arrives only once every 2 years. A single figure, an athlete at the peak of their craft, ascends the final steps. In their hand, a torch bearing a flame that has traveled thousands of miles. The world holds its breath as the Olympic cauldron erupts in a blaze of glory. This flame will burn for 16 days, a silent witness to triumph and heartbreak. We see it as a symbol of peace, of unity, a sacred link to the ancient games in Olympia. But what if I told you the story of that flame, especially its incredible journey, is not what you think? It's a modern invention, born from a simple idea and later forged in the fires of controversy and propaganda. This is the true story of the Olympic flame, a tale of how we, in the modern world, reached back nearly 3,000 years, not just to honor the past, but to create a symbol for our own tumultuous times. And it all begins, not with a relay, but with a stationary, sacred fire in ancient Greece. In the time of the ancient Olympics, held in the sanctuary of Olympia, fire was profoundly important. It was a divine element, a gift stolen from the gods by the Titan, Prometheus. To honor this, the Greeks kept perpetual flames burning at the altars of their most important deities. During the games, a flame burned at the altar of Hestia, the goddess of the hearth and home. Imagine the scene: the sprawling sanctuary, the temples, the athletes competing in honor of Zeus himself. And there, a constant, sacred fire. It represented purity, the favor of the gods, and the spiritual heart of the games. But here's the crucial fact that gets lost to time. There was no torch, and there was absolutely no relay. The flame stayed in one place. The idea of carrying it across the land, that would have been completely foreign to the ancient Greeks. The ancient games faded into history, and for 1,500 years, the fires at Olympia were extinguished. When a passionate French aristocrat, Pierre de Coubertin, revived the Olympic Games in 1896, his focus was on amateurism and international competition. The flame, that ancient, sacred fire, was not part of his original vision. The early modern games in Athens, Paris, and St. Louis came and went, with no iconic flame in sight. The change came in 1928 at the Amsterdam Games. The architect of the Olympic Stadium, a man named Jan Wills, had designed a tall, prominent tower. To give it a focal point, he had an idea. For the duration of the games, he wanted to have a fire burning atop his tower. And so, an employee of the Amsterdam Electricity Board simply lit it. There was no grand ceremony, no runners carrying a torch from Greece. A fire was simply ignited, becoming the very first Olympic flame of the modern era. It was a beautiful, simple gesture, a nod to the ancient past. It proved so popular that it was repeated 4 years later at the 1932 Los Angeles Games, where a flame again burned above the stadium. The idea of an Olympic flame was now established. But the journey, the epic relay, that was yet to come. And its origin story is one of the most complex and controversial in all of sports history. The year is 1936. The Olympic Games are to be held in Berlin, the capital of Nazi Germany. The chief organizer is a brilliant, ambitious sports administrator named Karl Diem. Diem was a scholar of the ancient games, and he wanted to create a spectacle that the world would never forget. He needed a powerful, theatrical way to link his nation's games to the glories of ancient Greece. He found his answer in an ancient Greek practice that wasn't actually part of their Olympics. The Lampadodromia, torch races run between neighboring towns. Diem masterfully combined this with the now-established idea of the stationary flame. He conceived a bold, unprecedented new ritual, the Olympic torch relay. The plan was audacious: to kindle a flame in the ruins of ancient Olympia, using the pure rays of the sun, and then transport it via a continuous relay of runners all the way to Berlin. This wasn't just logistics, it was propaganda of the highest order. The imagery was undeniable. A flame, representing classical perfection, passed from the ancient, idealized Greek world and carried north, arriving in the new, disciplined, and supposedly ascended Germany. The relay would physically draw a line from the perceived birthplace of Aryan civilization directly to the heart of the Third Reich. It was a powerful, symbolic endorsement that Hitler's regime craved. And so, on July 20th, 1936, a new tradition was born under a cloud of political intent. In Olympia, actresses dressed as priestesses gathered before a parabolic mirror. This device, like a curved magnifying glass, focused the sun's rays onto a silver torch, which burst into flame. The high priestess then lit the torch of the first runner. The first Olympic torch relay had begun. Over the next 12 days and 11 nights, the flame traveled over 3,000 kilometers. 3,331 runners each ran a single kilometer, carrying a torch made by the German company Krupp, the same industrial giant that armed the German military. The relay passed through Greece, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, Hungary, Austria, and Czechoslovakia before finally crossing into Germany. It was a stunning success, a rolling spectacle that captured the world's imagination, just as DM had planned. The journey ended on August 1, 1936. The final torchbearer, the German athlete Fritz Schilgen, a handsome, blonde runner chosen for his graceful style, ran into the packed Berlin Olympic Stadium. As Adolf Hitler and the world watched, he ascended the steps and lit the cauldron. A ritual conceived as a bridge to the ancients had been successfully staged as a powerful tool of modern political theater. For a time, it seemed the torch relay might die with the regime that created it. After the devastation of World War II, how could the world embrace a tradition invented for the infamous 1936 Berlin Games? The next Olympics, scheduled for 1948, were to be held in London, a city scarred by the Blitz. These would be the austerity games, with no place for extravagance. But two men, the British organizers for the London Games, saw a different potential. They argued that the relay should not be abandoned, but reclaimed. They understood that a symbol's power lies in the meaning we give it. They proposed to stage the torch relay again, but this time, frame it as a relay of peace. It was a brilliant act of symbolic transformation. The journey of the flame would no longer be about one nation's ideology, but about the world's shared hope for renewal. And so, in 1948, the flame was lit once more in Olympia. The first runner, a Greek corporal, laid down his arms, removed his army uniform, and ran in shorts and a vest. As the flame traveled towards London, it was met not with orchestrated nationalist rallies, but with ceremonies in war-torn towns, celebrating the fragile peace. The symbol was being rewritten, step by step, mile by mile. In the decades that followed, the Olympic torch relay solidified its new identity. It became a global celebration of the human spirit. We remember the breathtaking moment in 1992 when Paralympic archer Antonio Rebollo lit the cauldron in Barcelona with a flaming arrow. We remember the emotion in 1996 as the world watched a trembling Muhammad Ali, a global icon of strength and conviction, light the flame in Atlanta. The relay has traveled underwater to the Great Barrier Reef, to the top of Mount Everest, and even into space. It has become a curtain raiser for the Games, a journey that connects people from all walks of life, sharing a single, continuous flame. The lighting ceremony in Olympia, with the priestesses and the parabolic mirror, continues to this day, a direct legacy of the 1936 Games, but now imbued with a profoundly different meaning. So the next time you watch that final torchbearer complete their journey, remember its story. Remember the sacred, stationary fires of ancient Greece. Remember the simple tower in Amsterdam. And remember the controversial, yet pivotal, first relay to Berlin. The Olympic flame is more than just a symbol of peace. It's a testament to our ability to reclaim history, to transform a symbol from a tool of division into a beacon of unity. Its light doesn't just illuminate a stadium. It illuminates the complexity of our past and our enduring hope for a better future.